What's up, dude? My subscribers have been making this pulled pork sandwich for the last 3 years with incredible success. And if you don't believe me, go read the comments. The testimonials speak for themselves. And not to toot my own horn, but honestly, this sandwich is pretty close to perfect in its current state. Having said that, I've recently discovered a trick that takes it from amazing to downright criminal. So lock in, buckle up, and hold on to your butts because this is pulled pork like you've never had it before.
Now let's go.
Now to start, whenever you are cooking, you want to start the items that take the longest first. And you can ask any professional chef out there, they're always going to start their long items first and then finish with their last minute prep work. And the same goes for when you're cooking at home. So we need to start today by smoking our pork shoulder. It's going to take a long time, but it is the most important piece of the puzzle. So let's start with the dry rub. And all you need to do is combine 1/2 cup brown sugar, 1/2 cup white sugar, 6 tablespoons paprika, 2 teaspoons ground ginger, 2 tablespoons onion powder, 1 tablespoon garlic powder, 1 tablespoon chipotle powder, 1 tablespoon ground mustard, and 1 tablespoon of pepper. Just give that all a really good mix and your spice rub is done. And when you make your dry rub, you can always just add the salt to it and just put everything on your pork, but a lot of professional pit masters will actually salt their pork shoulder first the day before, which really helps that seasoning penetrate deep into the meat. Having said that, if you're crunched for time, just put the salt in with the dry rub. That will all be listed down in the description. And the salt to meat ratio I follow is 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt per pound of pork meat. So just weigh out all your meat and salt it accordingly. And by the way, I'm doing my famous homemade rosemary salt. If you know, you know, and a lot of you do. But of course, you don't need to do rosemary salt if for some reason you want to make it, and you probably should. I'll put a recipe for that down in the description, as well as a link to the video. And so once you have your pork shoulder salted up, the ideal thing to do is stick it in the fridge, covered up for 12 hours. But again, if you want to knock this out in one day, just do it, right? This is a YouTube channel. We have time and money to do these things. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. And to be honest with you guys, I actually didn't wait a full 12 hours. I only did 2 because I'm a little crunched for time. But again, if you have the foresight, do it. It can only do it a lot of good. At this point now, I'm gonna put my binder, which is just your standard French's yellow mustard, and it works really well to have that dry rub stick and form a really nice bark when you smoke it. But if you don't wanna use mustard, you can simply use a little touch of oil or even just a little bit of water. Just as long as the edge of this pork is a little bit moist to the touch, it's really gonna take that seasoning, right? This is really about forming bark. Now at this point, we can just go ahead and douse this pork with our homemade rub, and that looked good. I love the way the paprika just starts to darken in color as soon as it hits that moist mustardy pork. You could also leave the dry rub on here for a while if you wanted, but it's really more about getting that salt deep into the meat rather than the dry rub. Because once these are done cooking, it's all gonna get mixed together anyway, and all those spices are gonna incorporate nicely into the meat. And also just make sure you dip up the sides of these babies when you flip them over. And that's all there is to it, my friends. Let's take these outside and get them smoking. And I would be lying to you if I told you this whole process wasn't made so much easier by using a wireless probe thermometer. But lucky for me, I have what I think is one of the best wireless thermometers on the market today, the TYFERSync Gold, who is the sponsor of today's video. I've been using their products for years now. They are truly phenomenal. And especially when you're cooking multiple pieces of meat like I am today, if one is a lot bigger and one is a lot smaller, having 2 probes really makes all the difference. Because I can simply set my target temp to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not our final target, but we're gonna start there. Because then I know I can safely walk away, I can go do some work in my office, take the base with me, go anywhere really around my house, and just know I can always monitor that temperature. And I just love that there's really no need for an app or being tethered to your phone. The TYFERSync probes have 6 position sensors for top tier accuracy. And you can forget about lost connections because you can be up to 3,000 feet away and still have a signal. And this thermometer isn't just good for pork shoulder, it's good for prime rib, briskets, chicken, turkey, anything you can think of, you name it, it will temp it perfectly. The TYFERSync Gold would make an incredible gift, whether someone's just getting into cooking or already a grill master, they're gonna appreciate it. And right now, TYFER is offering a special Father's Day pricing. So if your dad loves his steaks done just right, he's gonna absolutely love this. It's gonna be like a friend for life. Just click the link in the description box below and use my exclusive code to save 15% off your order. For the first portion of this cook, I smoked my pork shoulder using post oak at a 250 degrees Fahrenheit. And once the TYFERSync hit the target temp of 165 degrees, I went ahead and wrapped it in butcher paper before returning to the smoker. Now, while that pork shoulder is smoking outside, you need to get back in the kitchen and make some Chipotle barbecue sauce. This is one of my oldest recipes. I've literally been perfecting this recipe since the early 2000s, and what it is today literally blows any store-bought barbecue sauce out of the water, like completely. If you don't believe me, just go and read the comments because a lot of people have made this one. Let's get to it. Take a little medium-high heat pot or pan, something that can hold saucy stuff. We're gonna add a little bit of avocado oil and then 1 large onion diced. And like many amazing recipes out there, we're gonna start by cooking down the onions for about 10 minutes. Have you ever walked into someone's house and thought, oh my God, it smells so good in here? What are they cooking? It's always onions. And you know what makes it even better? Cooking onions, cooking bacon, touch of wine. I don't know why. Those three smells incredible. And once they have a nice little bit of color, we're gonna add our vinegars. This is malt vinegar and apple cider vinegar. Next, we're going in with ketchup. Don't get any of that sugar-free stuff, right? This is barbecue sauce. Going in with some molasses. And I love the taste as well as that dark color you get from the molasses. It's pretty clutch. As well as soy sauce, brown sugar, onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, and some honey. Give that all a really good mix. And last but certainly not least, you need some canned chipotles, my friends. This really is the secret ingredient here. My God, is it good. And a little word of advice when it comes to using any kind of chilies, whether it be canned or fresh, always taste them because there is such a big difference in spice levels. Sometimes you get a jalapeno that tastes like a bell pepper, you know what I mean? These ones are really strong. I probably put a little too much, but the recipe calls for 6 ounces. Give it a taste. If it feels really spicy, maybe put 3, put 4, you know, depending on your tolerance. And now with the heat on about medium low, we're just gonna let this bubble away gently for about 25 minutes. You don't wanna have it so hot that it starts splattering. This stuff is like literally like plasma if it gets on you, so keep the heat low. And after 25 minutes have elapsed, you wanna go ahead and pour this through a little strainer into some sort of vessel, and then just simply push it through like so. And if you used whole canned chipotles like I did, you could blend this up if you want it really spicy, but I prefer to just push it through a little strainer like this so it's not so spicy, and also it just looks way better. If you blend it, it gets a lot lighter in color. I just love this dark look, and I highly recommend you save all these little scraps right here. You can put them on top of your pulled pork sandwich for a little texture and spice, and they're really good. And once it's all strained out, let this cool to room temp, store it in your fridge. It will last for months. But before you do, give it a taste. Sweet, salty, spicy, tangy, sour. I mean, it's got all those notes. Incredible. The barbecue sauce is done, and after another couple hours, my pork hit my final target temp of 205. At which point I took it inside and let it have a long 45-minute rest. And once its nap was finished, it's time for my favorite part of all of this, revealing this incredibly juicy, glistening, just like sparkly, heavenly, godlike pork shoulder. And let me tell you something, my friends, this shredded like absolute butter. I could just tell right away this was gonna be some absolutely incredible pork. And all I did was remove the bones and shred it kind of coarsely. I don't want this to be really, really fine. I like seeing some texture here. And there's really only one more thing we need to do to complement the fattiness of this pork, and that's to make some incredible coleslaws to go with it. Now, to finish off the pulled pork, we're not just gonna make one coleslaw, we're gonna make 2, and they're both great for different reasons. The first one we're gonna make is just your standard American coleslaw dressing. It's so simple and it's just really good. Starting with mayo, apple cider vinegar, and we're gonna add sugar to it, as well as salt. Give it a stir and leave it for a minute so that sugar and salt can dissolve. Then add it to your mayo, and then all you need is celery seed and black pepper. Give that all a really good whisk until it gets nice and smooth, and that's your American coleslaw dressing done. And trust me, there really is no other way to make it. This is all you need. To finish the American coleslaw, I'm simply gonna mandolin up some green cabbage nice and thin. If you don't have a mandolin, you can also use a knife. Just take your time and make sure those slices are consistent. I'm also gonna add some julienne carrots for flavor and color, and that is literally all you need for American coleslaw. It's bang on perfect, just like that. Add a little pinch of salt if you want it to be more seasoned. And the second recipe we're gonna make is my Chipotle lime coleslaw. This is probably my favorite coleslaw of all time. And for this one, we're starting again with mayo, then going in with a whole bunch of lime juice and a load of Chipotle. If you have whole ones, you gotta puree it up. And I'll tell you what, this combo alone right here, mayo, lime juice, and Chipotle, match made in heaven. A little touch of salt and some pepper. And last but not least, some microplaned garlic. If you don't have one of these, you need one, link in description. And that's literally all it is, my friends. Give it a mix, and trust me, this is gonna be one of your go-to recipes from now until the end of time. For the Chipotle coleslaw, I'm actually gonna do a blend of red cabbage and green cabbage, although it should be called purple cabbage because it's purple. And to that, I'll add some julienne carrots, just like the last coleslaw, but I'll also do some red onions, some green onions, and some cilantro. Just give that all a really good mix, taste for seasoning, and we're good to go. And now it's time to reveal that one trick that forever changed the way I make my pulled pork. And this may seem insignificant to you, but trust me, it makes a world of difference. If you eat this right away, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely delicious. You can, please do, have some. But when you put this in the fridge and you let it sit for a few hours until it's cold, I do overnight, but a few hours is enough. And all I can say is when you do this and you form a little pork carnitas sort of patty, salt it a little bit, fry it off in the pan on either side for about 2 minutes so it's a little bit crunchy on the outside, and then you use that to make your pulled pork sandwich, it goes from amazing to fantastic. That's it, my friends. That's my observation. That is my one trick that forever changed the way I make pulled pork. It's so much better the next day pan fried. Try it out for yourself and you shall see. And to make these, I just smash them up, sort of like I'm making a burger. And then I take a ring mold, just pop them in there. Gonna help keep it really uniform. Again, you don't need to use a ring mold if you don't have one. It's absolutely fine, but it does help. Let's make another one here. So much work in this, but so worth it somehow. Now I'll give these just a little sprinkle of salt. I can only do them a lot of good, but if for some reason your pork was too salty beforehand, don't do it. And just a very light touch of oil, like barely any. It's only to get the process started. Pan's preheated on medium-high heat. Let's go ahead and get these going. There's so much fat in the pork. Once these just cook for a minute, they're gonna be really rendering in their own fat. And then just cook them for about 3 minutes on either side. If they break apart a little bit, that's absolutely fine. We just wanna get some of that crunchy exterior while letting the middle remain nice and juicy and tender. And all you need to do is cook these for about 3 or 4 minutes on either side. Keep that heat right around medium. You can start on medium-high, but drop it a little after. And that's all she wrote, my friends. It's time to plate them up. Now to finish, I'm gonna toast off some of these homemade milk buns. The recipe comes from Joshua Weissman, so shout out to him for that. I really do love that burger bun recipe. I'll put a link to his website in the description if you want to make the recipe. And once those buns are nice and toasted, you can take some of your reserved Chipotle dressing and just lay that down on the bun for a little added flavor. Then top those off with your crispy pork, followed by some of that smoky, sweet, tangy Chipotle barbecue sauce. And finally, just add a little pile of your coleslaw before putting on the top on and enjoying probably one of the best sandwiches you're ever gonna make. All right, Marcus, here we go. Easy, right?
Easy
Make
peasy.
some buns, smoke some pork for 2 days. Let's try the American slaw first. So much better with a homemade bun. Crispy pork, tender pork, barbecue sauce, the coleslaw. Show me where I can buy that, because it's not around here. You know what I mean? That's insane.
The crisp with the tender is great. Also, if you're from a place that doesn't have good bread or dough or anything, it makes a huge difference.
100%. You want to try the other one? Better. For me, this is it.
Especially goes well with the fatty pork. There's more acid.
American one is fine, but the Chipotle one with all that extra acidity and lime, it just balances everything out. It really is like one of these perfect bites that you don't forget. That's the way, my friends. I just wanted to show you both. Chipotle wins. We've eaten way too much food today. We hope you make this one. Just give it a shot. My friends, thank you for watching today. It's your comments and your continued support and your success stories in the kitchen that really keeps me going. That just fills me up. I don't know what else to say. And if you prefer written recipes, I have an ebook. I'll link it down in the description. It's called Master in the Making because you are the master in the making. There's 55 of my personal favorite recipes from the channel in there. And if you want to keep learning today, here are 2 more incredible sandwiches that are 2 of my personal favorites from this channel. You know I love you and I'm out.